Hello all, welcome to Think Automation YouTube channel. If you want to learn more about qTest, Tosca and other Tricentis products, then this is the right YouTube channel for you. Please hit the subscribe button and share this video to your friends across so that the knowledge will reach to more people. Alright, let's start with today's video. Today's video we are going to talk about how to integrate qTest and Tosca and what are all integration features available once you completed this integration. Right. Let's go in detail. So what are all prerequisites first of all do we require for this integration? First of all, you need to have Tosca server installed and up and running. Either it can be HTTP or HTTPS. But HTTPS is a preferred one from a security point of view. Once you have that, you need to have completion of DEX setup up and running. DEX should be there to make this integration possible and to utilize all the features successfully. So for these two topics, I have made videos about in detail how to install Tosca server from the scratch and how you need to configure DEX with EOS. Please go and refer those videos. I will give the links in description box and in the I button as well. Right. Once you completed these two prerequisites, then you need to have a dedicated workspace created in your Tosca server machine to qTest to access all of these integration capabilities. Right. Once you have this, you need to have certain server settings configured to make the integration successful. We'll see all of those. And finally, you also need to up and running file service. So file service will be used to send screenshot from your Tosca to qTest. This is completely optional. Without this as well, you can be configure your qTest Tosca integration. But if you want to pass screenshot as well from Tosca to qTest, then file service will be a mandatory one. Right. Let's start into actual demo. Right. I have my qTest installed here. It is just installed in my local host, but in your case, it may be some valid URL like qtestnet.com ending with, or you'll have some IP addresses based on your organization configuration. Right. So the integration where you need to do integration at project settings and under automation settings. The qTest Tosca integration is at project level, which means that you can connect with different Tosca for different projects based on your need. Right. So where you need to do all these settings, you need to come to project settings and then you will see called automation settings. There you can see that dedicated section for Tosca integration. Here you need to enter certain details from your Tosca server. What is a Tosca server URL and what is the workspace, dedicated workspace that we have created for this integration and the client ID secret. These are all should be retried from Tosca server. Okay. So let's go into Tosca server and let's see how we can retrieve all these settings and what are all prerequisites they have mentioned there, right? So all of them we need to configure and then we'll come back here and then we'll see how the integration work. Okay, right. I have installed my Tosca server in my local host in my local machine itself, but you need to install this Tosca server in a virtual machine where that is a dedicated server basically that will handle all these requests. Right. So once you install that, please go and refer my existing video. So once you install that, you'll have a valid URL for your Tosca server. Right. First of all, what you need to do, so under Tosca commander, you need to create a dedicated workspace for qTest. So here I can see this is my troubleshooting workspace, local Tosca, but I also created a workspace called local Tosca underscore qTest. Um, let's give me a minute. Yeah, local Tosca QTest. So that's what you need to create. Next thing, what you need to do, so you need to create a client ID and secret. That you need to create under user administration. So if you come here under user administration, you'll be seeing a screen to create your user ID, client ID and secret. Here you can see. So here you can click on add new under user administration. So you'll be able to see you can give any name for this, give any expiration date for this. Once you click on generate token, you'll be seeing client ID and secret. Okay, I have already generated these client ID, but this is a client ID secret you need to copy paste to qTest as well, right? So I have generated my client ID secret now. I have my dedicated workspace created already, and then we'll see what is the server settings that we need to do here, right? So if you come to home page, again if you go to settings page, you will be seeing a dedicated section for qTest integration. Go to that section and enter your qTest URL. Here in my case, the qTest URL is just 127.0.0.1. But in your case, it may be, let me just rewrite test.qtestnet.com. So if you are using qtest cloud or SaaS, then you will be seeing these kind of URLs. So you need to enter that URL correctly. Don't enter any additional spaces or additional slashes, something like that. By default, if you copy the URL, it will come with a slash. Please make sure you are deleting the additional slash. Okay, so your URL should be like this, and you need to give the qtest API token, right? From where you need to get the qtest API token? If we come here to the home page or to the project home page, we'll be seeing called download kind of icon that is called as resource. So under that, you'll be able to see the something called integration with Tosca. So if you expand that section, you'll be able to see a API token. So this is the API token that you need to copy and paste it here. Okay. So once you've given that, yeah, once you've given that, you need to click on test connection so that you can make sure that your connection is valid. So once your connection is successful, then you need to check this toggle, activate qtest integration, and then click on save. This will restart entire services. Okay, this is required to make the settings populated correctly. So just click on OK. Then I'm gonna leave as it is. I already made these changes. Okay, now we have made the server settings as well. Okay, let's see the screenshot part at the end of the video. Now we'll just do the actual integration. At the end of the video, we'll go through how we can implement screenshot integration as well. Right. So we have made all these changes. Now we are coming back to qTest. So we are going back to automation settings. So what details you need to enter here? So protocol is nothing but whether you are using HTTP or HTTPS. So based on your Tosca server installation, please go ahead and choose this. I'm choosing HTTPS, and I have installed in localhost, but it may be something like this. For example, tosca.abc.com. You may have some URL like this based on your organization, right? So make sure if you're installing not in default port, but for example, for HTTP it is 80, for HTTPS it is 443 by default. So if you're changing the default port configuration, for example, if you come here, you will be able to see what port it was installed. So it was installed in 443 port. So if you are installing in any other port, make sure that you are giving that port details as well here, so that the qtest will be able to connect to Tosca successfully. So once you've given that, just click on load workspace. So it will load all the workspaces that you have in your Tosca server. Right, let me just reload it. Yeah, it will load all the workspaces that you have it here. Okay, so I already have this workspace detail. So let's choose local Tosca qtest, and I have this client ID secret generated already that I have told you, right? So from user administration, you need to create these client ID secret. That also I need to give. And after that, you need to click on try connection. If you click on try connection, it will establish a connection to my Tosca, and it will say the connection is successful or not. All those information it will say once it retrieve the information from Tosca server. Let's wait for a minute so that it establish a connection, and then it will say the connection is established correctly or not. So you can see that monitoring service URL, these stuff are disabled, which is nothing but if you're using very older version previous to 15 and all, then it will be enabled automatically. But for now, everyone is started to use the latest version, so no need to worry about these fields, right? So once the connection is established successfully, now I'm gonna save this, right? Th- Again, the save will take for a minute. Once it is saved, we'll be able to use the integration features one by one. Yeah, then the settings is saved now. The qtest and Tosca is kind of integrated, right? So what are all features that is available as part of the integration? First feature, basically you will be able to integrate these two sections. Test design and test execution will get integrated with Tosca. Let's go to test design. Let's refresh this page. Right. I'm gonna add a new folder for now called demo, where I'm adding some manual test case. So first of all, under test design, what is integration feature that is available? So you can convert your manual test case into an automation test case, Tosca test case, obviously. So you can convert your manual test case into a Tosca test case, and that will create a placeholder link in Tosca, and you can go to Tosca and automate that. Once you automate that, whatever steps that you created there, that will get updated here in your qTest as well. So that's what integration about for test design. And for text execution, you will be able to see the execution list details, everything here in qTest itself, and you will have an option to schedule those integration as well. Right. Let's see one by one. So I'm going to create a manual test case, new test case. Okay. Once I do that, I'm going to do demo integration. Right. And then this is a manual test case. Okay. So I'm going to give some dummy description, and then I'm going to give some valid test up saying that opening URL, something like that. Okay, this is my, so that the whoever creating the Tosca automation script, they will be able to see. Okay, this is the steps that we are gonna automate. So we'll automate all these steps. So now I'm just open Google URL should be open successfully. Right, I'm gonna save this test case. Right. So once you have Tosca integration in place, you will see some additional option here. If you are not integrated with Tosca, then you will see only the convert button. You will not see this drop down. So once you activated the integration, you will be able to see this additional drop down where you can see convert to Tosca commander. Okay. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna click on this. So this say, do you want to convert this case? Click on yes, then the conversion is going to be take place. This is going to take 30 seconds to 1 minute based on your internet connection and how is your Tosca server machine, everything, right? So now either you keep on reload this, and or if it is converted successfully, you will see an additional blue color icon here. For example, this is my existing test case, so you can see a blue color icon here, right? The blue color icon will come once it is converted into a Tosca test case automatically. You no need to do anything. Let's give some time so that the conversion takes place. All right, I can see that the blue color icon is appeared. Okay, let me reload this test case again. So you will see there are some additional fields are populated now. You can see that there is a automation field populated, and it automatically checked automation and Tosca, which is nothing but it is a Tosca test case now. And you see automation content is also populated with the description. This is also a newer field with respect to Tosca integration. And additional thing, you can see that each and everything, that description of the test case and then the test steps are frozen now, which is nothing but you cannot add any other new additional steps. Whatever test step that you need to add, that should be added from the Tosca only. So this is to maintain source of truth. So automation obviously should be maintained in Tosca. So that's the reason qtest is hiding, or you will not be able to perform any additional changes in your test steps or the name of the test case. Right. Let's go to qtest and see how this is coming. So I'm opening my commander. This can be opened in your local workspace as well. You don't need to open Tosca server or those Tosca server workspace. So in your local itself, you will be able to see this. So I'm going to do update all. Once I do the update all, for example, you can see imported from qtest. This is a folder you need to refer. So under this folder, whatever test cases that you have created here in qtest, that will come here. Demo integration is my test case. So the placeholder is come here. And once you click on it, once you hover this, you will also be able to see the what is the description of the test case, all those stuff. Or else you can simply choose the description column here, Right. Once you have the description column, if you expand that description column, you'll be able to see what is the test case description that we have given in the qtest and what is the test of details, expected results. Everything you'll be able to see in the description column. Right. I'm gonna hide this description now as of now. Okay. So I know that what needs to be done. Right. Now you can see that demo integration. I'm going to open the Google URL. So now in Tosca, you're going to do the actual thing. Either you can move this test case to some other folder as well. That is also fine. Or you can keep it in this folder. Okay. I'm going to keep it in this folder. In my next example, I will show how we can keep it in different folders. Right. Let me check out this. So I checked out, and then I'm going to add my module. For example, you can drag and drop your modules from module section, or I'm going to click on Control T so that it will open my module. Okay, now I'm going to add simple open URL test steps. Right, I'm going to add the open URL so you can see that. So I need to open google.com, right? I'm going to do that. https google.com. Okay, right. So this is correct now. So I did my test case development. Assume that you are gonna do actual test case development where you do hundreds of test steps based on your flow. Now this is for sample test case. Let me take a look at these properties of the test case. If you take a look at the properties of the test case, for example, you will be able to see it is linked with qtest equal to true. This will get automatically populated, and my project ID is 1, and you can see the API endpoint, which is nothing but qtest URL as well. So my project, this is installed in my local, so that's the reason you are seeing project equal to 1. But in your case, it will be some 5-digit number. So you'll be able to see what are all qtest related artifact, all those details you'll be able to see. Right. I have created my test case, completed my automation. Now you can see that test case design, how we linked the qtest manual test case to Tosca automation test case. Right. Let's see how we can execute them. I'm gonna pull this into my execution list. I'm going to execution, and then I already have this folder created. Okay. So let me create a new execution list here. Just give me a minute. Yeah, I'm gonna create a folder here, or new execution list maybe. Okay, I'm gonna say uh, integration demo. Okay, right. So inside this, I'm gonna pull the test case, whatever test case that we linked from qtest. Right. So I have this test case now. So after that, what you need to do to integrate your execution, you need to scroll to right, scroll down. You will see something called create test event for qtest. Just click on it. This will create test run test cycles in qtest. So this will get connected to your qtest. Okay. So if you are not logged in for the very first time, so you will be able to enter the connection details here, right? So you'll be able to enter your username, password, all those stuff. So just expand this connection details. You'll be able to enter these details. This is your qtest URL. Make sure that you are adding API slash v3. Okay, by default you will copy paste this URL only from qtest, and you need to append this API slash v3. Then only this will get activated, and then you need to enter your credentials. Okay, once you enter your credentials, just click on save and refresh. Right, and then choose your project. This is my only project available in qtest, but based on your need, you can choose your project. And then you need to choose to which release I'm gonna integrate, which is nothing but whatever releases that is available in your qtest, all the release information will get pulled automatically here. I'm gonna choose Tosca integration, and I'm gonna choose demo event, right? And then I'm going to click on link. So once you click on link, you can see that one test event will be linked, right? And then you also see there is a test event created automatically here under demo event. And if you again go to the property of the event, you'll be able to see linked with qtest. It is now false. but it will be linked once you do the check-in all. This is a release level integration that we are doing. So I'm going to do the check-in all now. So once I do the check-in all, you will be able to see all of these linkages. It is now it is linking with qTest. You can see that the linkage is gonna complete now, and that once the check-in all is completed, now I will be able to see that in qTest. Let me refresh in qTest. The check-in all is completed. Under Tosca integration, I see a new thing is populated, demo event, and whatever the execution list I have created, integration demo, that was coming here, and whatever the test case and execution list I pulled out, all those information came here. Again, this indicates it's an automation one, right? And you can see now you will not be able to see any logs. Once you execute that, then only you'll be able to see the logs. Now you can see that schedule option here is coming in qTest. This is not there for any other test cycle or anything that you created under this. For example, if you go to this test shoot, you will not be see anything for this test cycle for regular manual one. This is applicable only for Tosca related stuff. So for Tosca integrated uh, test cycles, you'll be able to see this scheduled testing. Now, this is where I was telling the prerequisite is you need to have a DEX setup up and running. So if you have a DEX setup up and running, if you schedule this directly from qTest, then it will do execution in your DEX machine. That's how the integration works. Okay. Now let me do the scheduled Tosca test event. So this is where the screen comes. From qTest launch, you will be able to schedule. It will automatically navigate you to qTest launch, and you can give any number here. Demo. Okay, I'm gonna give us demo, and then this is a project that it is automatically gonna choose, and then it will choose all of these test cycles. Everything it will choose. You just click on next. Once you clicked on next, once you click on next, you will be able to see whether you want to repeat this integration or this execution or not. If you want to repeat this execution daily, weekly, monthly, so you will be able to choose all of those information. Now for demonstration purpose, I'm not going to repeat, but you can do this. I'm going to click on run now. So this is going to initiate the execution now itself. Let me click on done. So now it says that it is not run, but it will start the execution. So to view the execution status, you can directly click on this. This will navigate you to Tosca server monitor URL. So from there, you will be able to monitor the execution. Now you can see that, let it load. You will see the event should automatically come here. Now we can go back to the event view. You'll be able to see the event is successfully triggered. So whenever you trigger it, schedule it from qTest or on demand run now option, or if you schedule it sometime, so it will trigger the execution from the DEX monitor. So now the event is successfully scheduled directly from qTest. You can see that. So at some point in time, within 30 seconds or 1 minute, it will pick up the exact agent once the AOI stuff is completed. Now the agent is picked up the execution now. Once the agent is completed execution, the execution results will go back to qTest. Right. Okay. Now the execution is completed from the Tosca DEX. Let's wait for some time and refresh this so that the execution results will automatically updated in my qTest as well. Okay, let's refresh now. After refreshing, I see that there is a one test case was there. That test case now it is passed. The result details are coming from Tosca. Now we can see that the test steps, we can see the in execution logs, my test step open URL is coming from Tosca now. Let me go to the same test case in qTest test design. You will see that the test steps are also replaced with the Tosca test steps, and these test steps cannot be edited further. So the source of truth is still lying in Tosca. And then execution as well. I see total number of pass, fail, execution, all those information for a specific event in my qTest as well. I can schedule this test case once again, or I can execute those test cases. Once I execute that, everything pass, fail information will be coming here. If you click on this, you'll be able to see the execution blocks as well. Just come here. You'll be able to see what is open. All those information is coming from Tosca now. Right. Now let me create some test case from Tosca and let it populate in qTest directly. Okay, now whatever we have done till now is how we created from qTest and that flows to Tosca and then came back to qTest for execution. Let's see, let's create the flow directly in Tosca. So I created some sample test case here in other folder. You can see that other folder, not in imported from Twitter. I'm creating in some other folder. Okay, this is a sample web application, vehicle insurance application. So I created this. Let me link this with qTest. How we can link? You can right click the test case. You will be able to see link with qTest. Click on this option, and then you will be able to see which project you need to choose, with what folder you need to choose in qTest. I'm choosing the demo one, right? Let me do the check-in all for a second, and then it is polling to qTest now. Let me go back to qTest and then refresh the screen now. The check-in all is completed. Let me go to demo. You can see that whatever test case that I have created in Tosca that got linked, the test steps will not come in immediately. Once you do the execution, then the test step details will come from the Tosca. It is a Tosca test case. You can see that. Now let me go to Tosca itself. I already created a sample this thing now. Let me see whether I have created that. Let me go back to, yeah, this is a folder. You can see for screenshot demo, I have created the sample execution list already. Okay. Now we'll see, we'll do the execution. We'll link this same event from Tosca to qTest. Let me do the linkage now, Tosca integration. And this is, I'm going to use for how screenshot can be handled or transferred from Tosca to qTest. Okay, what I'm gonna do to handle the screenshot, I need to enable certain settings. Okay, in Tosca. Let me go to Tosca server. So here, what you need to do, you need to go to settings, and then you need to activate this file service. Go to the file service, and then you need to activate this. By default it will come up with SQLite database. If you want, you can configure this with valid ms equal consent string as well. Okay, once you do that, you save and restart all these services. Post that, what you need to do, you need to enable the file service for the particular repository. So for that, you need to click on this administration console. Right. Once you click on the administration console, then it will list down what are all the things that you have added. Okay. So as part of DEX setup, you might have added your repository details here. So there, you need to go here and then just click on it. If you're not enabled the file service, just go ahead and enable. It is already enabled, right, for my repository. So if file service is enabled, then you are good to go to integrate your screenshots. Then as a next step, what you need to do, this needs to be done in Tosca server machine. You need to open Tosca commander in your Tosca server machine. So once you open that, you go to settings, and then you need to do activate DocuSnapper related settings. If you are not aware about DocuSnapper is the feature that will take screenshot of your execution automatically in the backend, and those screenshots can be transferred to qTest. So what you need to do, you need to do DocuSnapper, and then you need to enable Snapper. This you need to make it as yes, and then this is optional. Make all properties, just make it as yes as well. And then you see a path from where the DocuSnapper is going to store. But as of now, we are going to leave as it is. So since we are going to use the file service one. So next settings, what you need to do, storage location type. By default, this will be local. You need to change it to Tosca so that it will consume the file service location. So you need to change it to Tosca. And then there is a template available. If you click on this template, there is a default location. So you can choose this default DocuSnapper template. You can alter this template as well. I will make a separate video about this. But for now, you choose the default stuff, whatever you have it here, and then choose the enable snapper equal to yes, and then choose storage location type equal to Tosca. And then scroll down, you will see Tricentis services. Just expand it. You will see qTest integration. This one you need to make it as true. So these are all the settings that you need to do from the Tosca server, Tosca commander again, so that the integration is successful to pass this. Right. We have made all the settings now as part of our prerequisite, as part of your initial PPT. So screenshot configuration is as well completed. Let me recap for screenshot. For screenshot, you need to make file service active, up and running. First of all, you need to make this active, and then file service services from the settings should be up and running, configured with the valid database or valid SQLite database, whatever you have these things. So these two is for screenshot. And then if you go to the Tosca commander settings, so you will be able to see settings for Doku Snapper related settings that you need to iterate. So you can see it here, enable snapper should be yes, and then make all properties should be yes, and then path you can leave it as empty, don't touch it, and then storage location type you need to choose it as Tosca, and then template whatever is there, the default one you can leave as it is, right? So these are the settings, and after that we go to Tricentis services. So if we expand this, you will see qTest integration settings, where you can see you need to change the value to true. Right. We have done all these settings in Tosca server commander. Right. Let's go back here. I'm gonna trigger the execution directly from Tosca itself. You can trigger in both ways. You can trigger directly from Tosca, or you can schedule the execution from qTest as well. In both ways, the logs, everything, whatever is linked, that will get transferred to qTest automatically. So before to that, let me go back to qTest. Let me show you the event details in execution that we already integrated. You can see that. Let me refresh the screen. So we should be able to see the new event. Uh, Let me do the check-in all so that the event detail screenshot event itself will go back to qTest, which we created already. So how we created? We created just like from screenshot, we did create test event for qTest. So with that options, we created the event, and once we do the check-in all, it will come to qTest. Let me refresh the page again. You see the screenshot event is also coming here. So either you can directly schedule it from here now, since we made the screenshot related configuration as well. Now, in addition to the execution log pass or fail, it will also bring up the screenshots from Tosca. Or you can trigger it directly from Tosca as well. That will also bring back the logs back to qTest. Let me, we already trigger it from Tosca. Sorry, qTest. Let me trigger it from Tosca now. Right. I'm gonna pull up this screenshot, and I'm gonna click on execute now. So you can see that the execution is started now. Once the execution is completed, now it goes with sample application. Once the execution is completed, now the screenshot details will go to qTest automatically. Now we see that each and every step, whatever we're executing for sample application, the screenshot will go to qTest. Yeah, the execution is completed. Yeah, the execution is completed, and you can see that it is a failed test case. That's fine. I have deliberately failed the test case so that you can see the failure results in qTest. Let's see how this is there in qTest. Now we can see that the newly added event test cycle, that is failed, and you can see that test case is also failed. So this is a Tosca test case, automation test run execution. You can see it is failed, right? And you can see all the details. Let me, these are all past step, only this step is a failure one. Now we waited for some time in qTest, and let's see, refresh, and let's see the execution data and screenshot, everything is coming. Execution data already came. Okay, let's see that the test step details, everything is came. So what are all pass step, fail step, everything is came. And in addition to that, you see that DocuSnapper screenshot is also attached now, which was not there for the other test kits that we have not enabled. So only the aggregate description, this is the default logs coming up. But for the failure screenshot that we attached recently, that has some additional Word document attached to it. If you open it, you will be able to see. Yeah, if you open it, you will be able to see this screenshot. This is coming from DocuSnapper. So it has some default template, has some default property. We'll be able to customize this. We'll see it in next video. So we'll see detailed screenshot what was happened and the test step details as well. Here we're filling the details, what details were filled, each and everything that we captured in Tosca Doku Snapper that is now coming back to QTest automatically as part of the integration. Yeah, that's what guys I wanna teach you today in my video, how to integrate qTest and Tosca, how to pass the screenshot back from Tosca to qTest, all this stuff. Okay, I hope this video finds you very much helpful. Please share this video to your friends across. We'll meet you in some other useful topics in next week or next to next week. Thank you all. Bye.